Here, take a look at my Titan doing what it does best, throwing hands at anybody. This thunderclap can heal you, grant you your melee charge back, and create a stasis lance, an ability so powerful that even hunters with throwing knives might want to rage quit the game. This is the perfected thunderclap Titan. Guys, I'm tired of seeing my Titan brothers sitting behind a bolt charge barricade instead of doing what they do best, which is getting close and personal and throwing hands. This video will include everything from my stats, how to achieve those stats, my exotic choice, my subclass, and what weapons to use to further complement this build. Just like any build, there are pros and cons. One of the downsides to this build is that you are very grounded, so don't expect yourself to have a lot of vertical gameplay. One of the upsides is that this build does not require a lot of effort when it comes to aiming and securing kills. And yes, I mean kills as in plural. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at my stats. Starting from the top, we have 150 in health, 74 in melee, 70 in grenades, 90 stats in super, 87 stats in class, and 23 weapon stats. Before we break down why I invested the stats that I did, I need to introduce you to the fact that Prismatic as a subclass nerfs the cooldowns on my abilities. So with that in mind, I wanted to make sure I had a good amount of stats invested across the board. In order to achieve that, I had a bar that I wanted to meet. Before Edge of Fate, running 100 grenades or 100 class or 100 melee is the equivalent to running 70 stats now inside of Edge of Fate. So with that knowledge, that's exactly what I did. I hit that bar. As you can see, none of my ability stats require more than 100 stat investments, which means that it takes a lot less pressure from you needing to have the perfect tier 5 armor. All right, here is my subclass. Before we go over each individual ability, let's talk about Thunderclap. This is an ability that lets you charge up all the way to 100%. If you do that, you get rewarded with a one-shot kill inside a Crucible. The thing is, we're not doing that for this build. We're actually just gonna tap the button and immediately launch the Thunderclap. The reasons we're doing that is because the ability already does really good damage, right? And it has a lot of range. So even if people try to run away or backpedal against you, the Thunderclap will reach them. And on top of that, it has wide range, and I love that because even if I feel like I missed a target, the Thunderclap will still hit the player. The downside here is that you can't use this ability while you're midair, so be prepared to be grounded. Okay, so now you understand Thunderclap, but there's something missing. There's something missing that allows this star to shine, and that is the weapon of choice. You're gonna wanna use one of the brand new shotgun hand cannons. You can go for the Trolls hand cannon, or you can use the Arms Weak hand cannon. And then there's some perks that I really recommend to get the most out of this build. One of those is Trench Barrel. You see, Trench Barrel states that after a successful melee hit, this weapon gains bonus damage and handling speed. This is amazing because if you proc the Trench Barrel perk, the shotgun's gonna do so much damage that sometimes you get a one-tap kill. This is one of the best perks no matter what kind of shotgun melee build combo you're doing. There's actually one more perk that I want to shout out, and that's actually 1-2 punch. So normally, I only like this if I'm trying to kill someone off a revive or they have overshields, because you kind of have to barrel stuff to get all the pellets to land to proc the perk. But there is something so rewarding about using this perk with Thunderclap, and that's the fact that if you proc this on the player and then you do your normal Thunderclap kill on that player, anybody near that Thunderclap behind them to the side will actually get one-shot killed by the ability, and it's insane. I haven't been able to replicate this myself yet, so I hope you guys can, and I need you to tell me how cool it was. Also, if you've been trying to improve your game with a shotgun hand cannon, some recommendations I have for your barrels, magazines, masterworks: just look for good combinations of range with handling. Keep your eyes open for this brand new mod called Temporal Adapter, because it increases your stability and your handling. I did some testing and compared to perks like adept handling, quick access sling, free hand grip, Temporal Adapter actually comes out on top, so keep that in mind. Slap on some dexterity mods and you have a snappy hand cannon. With that out of the way, let's keep looking at my subclass abilities, because if you think that's the entire build combo, then you're dead wrong. You're gonna regret missing out the rest of the information. Starting with the aspects, we have Knockout. This ability gives me health regen with a melee kill. We have an exotic that actually takes care of this entire health regen situation. It's Intermultiple Skull Form, and we'll talk about it more later. The thing here is that Knockout gives you more opportunities to make this shotgun melee combo happen without without needing to actually use the thunderclap. Sometimes players are just a little bit too close range and you just want to panic melee somebody midair. This is where the knockout melee ability comes in clutch. It has extra range and it does absurd amount of damage. Really good combination. The next aspect is where things get absolutely wild. So we have Diamond Lance. This is a stasis lance that once created by getting an ability kill, you pick it up and you go third person. You have several seconds to make a play with this lance. You can jump in the air with it, you can run, you can glide, you can do anything. And once you launch it directly towards a player, it will freeze them for a short amount of time. In that short amount of time, you can shoot them, you can punch them, you can thunderclap them to get the defeat on that guardian. Honestly, it feels really toxic because the Diamond Lance is super fast and it feels like people don't have time to react. I actually have a tech to share with you. This is a tip when using Diamond Lance, because in the gameplay you see me flying in the air and then just chucking the Diamond Lance and immediately ground pounding to the floor. So the reason that happens is because as soon as I throw the lance, I actually do that ground pound. I melee and it launches me downwards. That combination, if you do the timing correctly, it will be exactly how I'm doing it in the gameplay. It allows you to move faster towards the target, to do whatever ability you want to do to get the kill. So you have the Diamond Lance, you just throw someone. What do you do after that? You have several options, but the best plays are usually going to be you just do a normal punch. That normal punch will actually just one-shot kill straight up, but you could also do what I love to do, and that's thunderclap, because sometimes you freeze someone and they're a little bit too far away, but the thunderclap will reach them and do enough damage to actually get the kill. I do have one bit of extra information to share about the Diamond Lance thunderclap combo, is that if you don't charge it for a little bit longer than usual, sometimes the player will just die to the Diamond Lance shatter and it would not refund you a full melee charge, but I wouldn't be alarmed by that. It's still really funny and it's so freaking good. Okay, next up is my grenades. I'm using suppressor grenades. I've tested a variety of different options here, but this one seemed to be the best and it fit right with the theme of the build, where it feels like you're kind of being toxic and trolling the enemy team. You suppress them, they have no abilities to use. They can't really counter you, and this also feels like a good way to kind of balance out the ability spam in the games. Next, we have Strafe Lift, and then I have the class ability Towering Barricade. This one is just so clutch. You put the shield down on a revive, the enemy player has to either break it down or find a way around. The shield is also a really good way to just hold map control for different points of interest. As for the super, we have several options. Some that I recommend are Thunder Crash, Blade Fury, Twilight Arsenal. Personally, can't go wrong with Thunder Crash. It's fast and difficult to avoid. Next up are the fragments. So first up, we have Facet of Awakening. This one states that if we get rapid light kills, we are going to create an elemental pickup. And this can happen and will happen when you're using the Thunderclap build. But the main reason we're using this is because of the plus 10 health. Next, we have Facet of Protection. I'm mainly using this for the plus 10 melee energy, but the fragment states that you are more resistant to damage if you're surrounded by guardians, which comes in clutch sometimes. Next, we have Facet of Courage, mainly using it for the plus 10 grenades, but there are benefits to this fragment in this build. This fragment states that your arc, solar, void abilities do more damage to targets afflicted by darkness. So if they are hit by a stasis lance, they're taking more damage from your knockout punch or your thunderclap. On top of that, that also works with the prismatic grenade, which we'll talk about here in a second. Our next fragment is Facet of Hope. This fragment states that whenever we have some type of elemental buff, whether it's radiant or amplified, our class ability comes back faster. And this is true to the idea of my stat balance of trying to get all my ability cooldowns to be good and come back quickly. The final fragment here is Facet of Dawn. It states that powered melee hits will grant me radiant. We do lose melee energy, but getting that radiant is pretty clutch because you have already been exposed to the power of Trench Barrel plus radiant. It allows you to get a one-tap kill, and that is something that I do not want to give up. The last thing to look at on this subclass is Transcendence and the Prismatic Grenade. You can get Transcendence with this build pretty easily. Just make sure you're building into it by using a darkness weapon type. If you do that, you'll be able to have a mini super early in the game before you even get your actual super. In Transcendence is pretty clutch because you get the Prismatic Grenade, which suspends and jolts players. This is a very powerful ability. It suspends for a very long time, and they take a lot of damage. If you catch multiple guardians with the same nade, they might just straight up die to the jolting effect. This actually works well with your thunderclap as a combo because you can suspend somebody and then go for the thunderclap kill, and it will actually give you the one-shot kill. Okay, so you've seen my subclass, and now it's time to talk about the exotic armor choice here, Insurmountable Skullfort. If you have played Titan PvE, you are no stranger to this exotic and its power. Hitting several thunderclaps on dregs to get your melee energy back and keeping your health back is kind of the idea here that you want to have for trials. When you hit that shotgun hand cannon and you hit that thunderclap, I want you to imagine Shanks, all right, bro? It's easy as that. The combo works, it's very effective, and you get your melee energy back and you heal yourself. That means you're a raid boss. It's really difficult to kill you because you're always getting your health regen back. The combos are crazy. The streak follow-ups are also insane because now that you're healthy, you can go in, get that diamond lance that you made, and follow up for another kill, almost guaranteeing you a 2-piece every time you're trying to make this build combo work. It's a simple exotic, and that's all there is to it, and I feel like that's kind of one of the biggest W's about this build is that there's nothing too complicated going on here with the stats, the exotic, even the combo itself. It's reliable, and I feel like it's easy to replicate. Before I show you the mod configuration, let's take a look at the armor archetypes and the stats so you have an idea of what to hunt for. So on my Titan mark, we have Bulwark, a lot of health, good class, good super. My legs have Bulwark as well. Health stat comes with grenade, super, and class. We have the Bulwark on my chest piece as well, which is more health, more class, more grenades. And then we have Brawler on my gauntlets, which gives me melee and health. My Insurmountable Skullfort doesn't have an archetype, but you can see that it's rolled with health, melee, and super. In order to obtain these type of armor archetypes, just keep in mind trying to hunt for things like Paragon and the Bulwark armorer set, and after that, it's just RNG, man. Alright, let's talk about the mods on my build. Starting from the helmet, I'm rocking 2 hands-on mods. This one states that every powered melee ability kill gives you super energy, and it is very noticeable. It's very impactful. Inside of trials games especially, you get your super really fast. You've seen solar hunters with throwing knives get their super really quickly. You can do the same thing on your Titan. I've done some testing, and 2 hands-on mods still seems to be the best way to go. 1 is okay, and 3 just doesn't really seem worth it. I do have 1 more mod on this helmet, and that's kinetic targeting, but this one is going to change depending on what shotgun hand cannon you're using. On my gauntlets, I'm rocking 2 dexterity mods, and this one will also depend on what shotgun hand cannon you want to use. I am using an ability mod called Impact Induction. This one states that powered melee hits are going to reduce the grenade cooldown, so that's nice to get the suppressor back. On my chest piece, I'm rocking 2 unflinching mods, and this will just depends on your weapons. I like to use the Charles hand cannon with Igneous Hammer, so I'm going to use kinetic and solar dexterity. On my boots, I have 3 different mods. One of them is enhanced athletics. It increases my base movement speed and jump height. That feels pretty good when using the shotgun hand cannon and trying to get those melee kills. Next up is Orbs of Restoration, which is going to give me cooldowns for the lowest charged ability on this build. And then lastly, we have Innervation, which gives me grenades back faster. The last thing here for the armor is my class Titan mark. I'm rocking the Reaper mod. You pop the class ability, boom, you get a kill, you make an orb of power. And then I have 2 bomber mods to get the suppressors back. In the end, you have a well-rounded build that can give you 1 easy free kill, and then the diamond lance, it's another cheesy kill. The chaining for the streaks is nice. You get good super energy. The handling feels good on the build, and also the cooldowns are very, very nice. Let's go ahead and take a look at my artifact. I'm saving this for last because this can change depending on when you're watching the video, but I like to use Elemental Benevolence. We like Refreshed Threads. I like Shield Crush, and the idea here is that because I'm using these mods, they're going to activate one way or another as I'm playing trials or 6v6, and the result is going to be faster ability cooldowns, which is something that you want, especially playing Prismatic. And then lastly, Radiant Shrapnel. We do have access to Radiant, which means you can scorch players. Well, we have reached the end of the video. Honestly, I'm so surprised with this build. I thought it was just going to be for laughs, you know, something cheesy that wasn't always going to work, and especially not against good players. But as I kept using it, the more surprised I was. This build is much easier to use, in my opinion, than the Hunter variant. Yes, you have aimbot throwing knives that like to curve, but this one has insane range that doesn't require much aiming at all. And then on top of that, you make a diamond lance, and the diamond lance, no matter how you put it, results in a free kill. That's how it feels, right? That's the power that you feel when you pick up the diamond lance. I like the way that I spec everything with the stats and the mods and the fragments, because when I was playing the Titan, it felt like I had good ability cooldowns no matter the situation. Even if I didn't want to use Thunderclap, I still had knockout, I still had suppressors, I still had the ability to use my barricades and the guns too. Anyways, let me know what you think. Are you gonna try it out? And if you already did, how good is it, huh? It's powerful, right? Anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure you drop a like on the video. I'll catch you in the next one.